Hey, fellas, it's Spad here, coming to you from Arizona with our midweek coaching prompt. I'm sorry the lighting's not so great, and that is not a screensaver. It's a real background. We're down here. We rented a house, Michelle and I, for a couple of weeks, and we've got a handful of way couples that are staying with us. And we had a great conversation last night around the topic of fear. Michelle and I were walking in this very park with the dogs earlier that day, yesterday, and we heard this really good question that was posed by Jamie Winship as he was being interviewed by Susie Larson. And the question was this: what would your life look like if you had no fear? And this is a question that you've heard us talk about at the Way before is our objective is to help guys live with freedom, purpose, and joy. And freedom from what? Ideally, it'd be like a man that has nothing to hide, nothing to prove, nothing to lose, and nothing to fear. So imagine living like that. What would that be like? And so as we went around the table last night at dinner with our groups, it was really interesting to hear what would it look like for you. Two of the women said that they would treat their husbands nicer. One was just concerned that their husband was working too hard and that eventually he'd retire and die. And she would be like, what was that all about? The other one was really concerned about the person's physical health. And they said, if I wasn't so afraid of him dying, I probably wouldn't be such a stickler on their exercise and nutrition. Two other people had mentioned that their bigger fear was their work and their volunteerism is driven in some ways around being relevant to other people. And if they backed off from this hunger for relevance, they may back off from their desire to serve. And so there was some interesting things going on beneath the waterline of the iceberg there. Others had some correlation to money, fear of money. And in my experience, very few people are really not afraid of becoming destitute. It's more that they're afraid of how they would be perceived if they became destitute financially. So that was another one. And one of the other men said that they would work less hard if they were free of the fear of other people's opinions. And he wasn't saying that he would become lazy or sloppy in his work. It's just that the fuel for his work would be more out of curiosity and love and a desire to help, and less of something fueled by fear. And so I want you to just ask yourself this question: if you were living with less fear, what would be some of the changes in your life? How would your attitude change? How would some of your relationships change? Which projects would you start? Which volunteer opportunities would you jump into or jump out of if fear wasn't driving you? I think about Psalm 139. It's like, search my heart, O Lord. Test my heart. Know my anxious thoughts. See if there are any offensive ways in me. And those offensive ways aren't just, an obvious snub to God's glory and authority, although it could include that. But it's more just, is there any lie or limiting belief that is not consistent with the truth that you've created this world to work under? It's contrary, it's cross-grain to your ways. And search me, Lord, and let me know if there's anything that's holding me back, and teach me to walk in your everlasting love. And so the coaching question is just to stop and say, if I was living fearlessly, what would I change? How would my life look different? And ask the Lord to reveal some of the clues around that in prayer and through journaling. So that's it for today's midweek coaching prompt. Love you guys. Be loved. Go love.